This week, we're back in Indiana with a big man. Get familiar with this guy from Indiana State, Rex Beck wearing, viral sensation, baller, center, Robbie Avila.
The Sycamores are rolling right now, and Indiana basketball fans, there's also a pro team in Indianapolis kicking butt right now. The Indiana Pacers, our sponsor, 500 level, has all the Pacer shirts you could ever ask for. Benedict Mathurin, Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner. Get 20% off all those shirts and more on the site 500level.com with the discount code podcast at checkout. Let's go.
This is Robbie Avila, and I'm on the One Star Recruits podcast.
Yo, aloha. Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast. We bring on 5-star humans from all over the world doing cool stuff. This week, we are back in Indiana at Indiana State in Terre Haute, Indiana. Rip, pronounce that for me exactly how it's supposed to be said.
Come on, man. That's so one star. It's Terre Haute, Indiana, area code 812. Everybody knows, DK, home of Indiana State and the Indiana State Sycamores.
Haute. It's tough how it's spelled, Rip. I think it might be French or something of how it's spelled. We know I'm not very good with names, especially French. My last French I tried with Olivier, the 7'7" center at IMG Academy, another big man. The podcast for big mans here. I tried a little French, it didn't work out. Terre Haute, like who? Like an owl.
Terre Haute, Haute. Haute. It's how it's pronounced. And look, there's good reason, DK. The last time these guys were relevant in basketball until now was the Larry Bird days. 1978-79 was the last time this team was nationally ranked. But guess what? Breaking news. Spit it to the listeners right now.
Rank number 23 in the country, these guys right now. The ladder is definitely going up further for Indiana State from the 70s because we're back, baby. Indiana State is back. We got Purdue bubbling in the state. We have Indiana. We're big Indiana fans. Lots of Indiana guys come on this podcast. They're not what they used to be. This is amazing. This is the picking up a lot of the excess slack. I think they have some great recruiting class from Chicago and all over the country. We're from Arizona, listeners. This has a little bit of a rumbling of, you got Arizona in Tucson, you got Arizona State in Tempe, always competing a little bit. Northern Arizona's up in Flagstaff, not really part of the conversation ever. But then every now and again, you get a mix-up from Grand Canyon University. And all of a sudden, Arizona's a big basketball school brewing. But guess what? They never all win at once. It's always kind of this interesting flow of prospects and players. I, for one, though, would have never guessed this would be the year 2024 that the Indiana State basketball team is ranked and looking to make a March Madness run.
It's incredible, and the reason is not only because of the guy we're going to talk to in a few minutes here, who's well justified. He's a great big man, only a sophomore, but this team has 5 players averaging in double figures. Currently, as we record this podcast on Tuesday afternoon before the big matchup against Illinois State tonight, they've won 9 in a row, could make it 10 tonight. The team is rolling, justifiably ranked, and I can't wait to see what they do in March because they're going to be there in the tournament.
Well, mark the tape, Rip. I think so, too. I think you got to continue. It's February. It's not March, so got to continue to win games. We're going to start to see the media turn a little bit on these guys as February turns into March. We flip the calendar. Football's over. Super Bowl just happened. We're going to touch on that the second half of this podcast. I got a couple of thoughts from the game. Not too much, though, so stick around. We have what's really happening in the NCAA right now with name, image, and likeness. Everything changing. We have conferences changing. We have people moving around. So this moment in time is very, very important, especially to be an Indiana State fan or a Purdue fan, because these are the 2 teams that are popping right now in your region. So let's get it going. Good stuff. The Rex Specs, always a 2 thumbs up basketball move at the center position, Rip. We had Specs actually on this podcast, current Indiana Pacer, when he was on the Phoenix Suns out of Maryland.
Yeah, Jalen Smith, great rotational player for the Pacers right now. We had, if you go back to the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar days, Kurt Rambis, now Rob making his mark with the Rex Specs, and he's still got a lot of college left, and he's already a top player.
As the listeners know, I'm a glasses wearer. If I had a 240-pound, 6'10" body as a sophomore, like our guy Robbie, and I was playing the 4, the 5, This guy can shoot the ball. He can also rebound the ball. So big 4-5 mix, kind of a Kevin Love meets Joker on the Nuggets a little bit of the way he plays basketball. I would also be wearing the rec specs. I can't ever. I have an eye disease, listeners. I'm stuck with these glasses for life. I've accepted that. I have an eye disease that I can't get the LASIK, so I respect it. I also, when I create a player in NBA 2K, I put on the glasses. I'm a glasses wearer, so I'm a big fan. Also, think it's become a little bit cooler this day and age to actually go ahead and wear the glasses instead of doing the contacts. Nobody wants to lose the contacts on a basketball court, on a basketball floor anymore. Too much work. Also, sweating the contacts doesn't work. Am I even saying contacts right? I feel like I'm sludging that word together, Rip. Contacts.
And look, let's face it. I'm a parent of two young kids who are always accident prone. So I'm a safety first guy. And I'll tell you what, right now, I remember Amari Stoudemire about 20 years ago getting his cornea scratched. He was bedridden for about 3 weeks, I think 20 hours a day. You cannot mess with eye injuries. So if you're wearing rec specs, it's safety first. You're not going to get poked in the eye. That's all there is to it. So props to Robbie. I'm excited to talk to him in this interview, and really coming out party on One Star Recruits. Let's introduce the world to the rec spec wearing sophomore center from the Indiana State Sycamores. Enjoy this interview with Robbie Avila. Now joining the One Star Recruits podcast, we have a native of Oak Forest, Illinois, a sophomore center for the Indiana State Sycamores basketball team, someone you've surely seen highlights of this season, the big man, Robbie Avila. Thanks for hopping on with the One Stars, Robbie.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I'm excited.
We're glad to have you. I hope I got that pronunciation right. And really, our main goal for this interview is for America to get to know you a little bit, because assuming most college hoops fans are like DK and I, that social media algorithm has hit them over the past couple months. They've seen you balling on Instagram. They've seen the rec specs, the goggles, but probably I'm thinking most people outside of Indiana and maybe that Chicagoland area have never actually heard you speak. So let's do just a quick 3 maybe fun facts about Robbie Avila. Favorite restaurant? What do you do in your free time? Best vacation you've ever taken? Just tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, yeah, no, I definitely say favorite food. Obviously, I don't really have like a particular restaurant, but my favorite food is kind of anything to do with cheese. I love cheese, whether it's pizza, grilled cheese, mac and cheese, quesadillas. I love it all. So that's definitely, as long as the restaurant's serving something with cheese, everybody knows me, and so I love that. I
Same,
definitely
by the way.
say
Same for sure. How about best vacation? Best vacation you've ever had?
best vacation. Obviously with basketball, there's not too many, times for vacation. Especially when I was younger, it's always, in high school season or your middle school season, and it's right to travel ball. So I definitely we went to Disneyland a couple times as a family, but I'd say even though they weren't technically vacations, I love my AAU trips with the teams that the team I travel with. We had a lot of fun, even though it was, for basketball. I think like, going to, went to Atlanta, went to Texas, going to, I still count those as vacations.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. We had Olivier Rioux on the pod. He's 7'7". He said sometimes he gets upgrades with his family to first class for free, which is very nice. You ever done first class with your big body?
I have not, but I did get upgraded to it was like the like the one the section right behind it. So it's not the actual like the back seats where it's real tight, but I did have more space than I ever had. But I've never sat in first class yet.
Never, yeah. You're gonna get there, my man. You're gonna get there, big guy.
I hope so.
It's got to happen. I actually think that should be something that you are offered more, and I think throughout your life you will be. We got you on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. It's kind of fitting. You're a little bit of the sweetheart over the past few months of college basketball. Like Rip said, the algorithm got us. We're basketball heads. So just in the normal algo started feeding you in, and everybody loves your look. We're getting to know you a little bit more. Was there an oh shit moment in your mentions on the road at an airport? You get a DM request where you're kind of like, oh shit, this thing's going a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think it was after one of our games, we were on the road and we were traveling back, and I was obviously blowing up a little bit, and I checked my phone and I seen I got a couple followers. I'm like, okay, I'm growing followers. And so I checked to see, just to see who it was, maybe if somebody I know or maybe another player. I look at it and it's Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban followed me on Instagram. I was like, that's what you said. I was like, wow. I was like, so I looked at it just to make sure it was legit because I know there's a lot of accounts out there. I'm like, is this really him? I looked at it, looked at his post. I'm like, oh my God, this is actually Mark Cuban. And so I was like, wow. And that was probably the first one I was like, this is pretty awesome. So,
A Hoosier alum, by the way, Mark
oh
Cuban,
yeah.
right?
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
He stays in touch with all the Indiana. He's got all of Indiana, but he does love the Hoosiers. Probably now not as much. He might be slipping over to the Indiana State, maybe a little Purdue bandwagon, Mr. Cuban over there.
Hopefully slide down to the ISU side. Yeah.
I know he wants one of those pretty jerseys. Probably some of the best, those powder blues, probably some of the best Jays slept on jerseys in college
Hmm.
basketball, by the way, man. Gotta love those.
Yeah. I love our baby blue jerseys. There's nothing like it.
It's a Valentine's Day gift right there for your man, ladies. If you messed up, you want something OG, hop on, and get a powder blue. Men love them, dude. Let's talk about your game real fast. Strong shooting big man. Some would say Kevin Love. Little mix of Kevin Love with a little bit of the Joker. I've heard people say before. You're a sophomore though. We're obsessed with 50, 40, 90 on this podcast. We think it's a great basketball goal. In fact, you got kind of close to your senior year of high school. Is that something
Hmm.
that's doable? You think you can hit those types of numbers at this level?
Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously it's extremely hard, to do. You have to be really efficient. But I think within our offense, I'm able to kind of do that. I'm not there yet. I think I'm shooting like 50, 40, and like 80 from the free throw line. But I think those are still, really good numbers to what I'm doing right now. And just being able to, like you said, stretch the floor like how Kevin Love, a bigger guy that can shoot the ball. I think I'm able to do a little bit of that also with my playmaking ability like Jokic, just kind of that all around big man game that I'm able to bring to our team.
Yeah, yeah. And your hands and your dribbles looking nicer into this year. How
Mhm.
about something that you're working on? What are you putting a lot of focus in, offensively or defensively?
A little bit of both. I'll go defensively, definitely being obviously last year I was a freshman, so I was a lot smaller, younger than, guys going up guys who were 20, 21 years old. And so I definitely worked on my post defense, throughout the summer. I had to obviously get stronger, that took its time, but just technique and all that. But offensively is just definitely reading the game. Last year as a freshman, the game seemed so much quicker and faster than what it is. And obviously with Coach Schertz's system, there's a lot of moving and cutting, ball screens and stuff like that. And so just being able to slow the game down a little bit, in my eyes and see what everybody else is doing is what I worked on offensively a lot. And I think it's helped us get to where we're at right now.
Keep those feet moving. The big man game is changing. I think I saw Wemby a couple nights ago go do a sham god
Oh
Euro
yeah.
step with a finger roll finish. It's nuts. You got. Oh, let me add that to the bag now, dude. Have you been watching Wemby? Is he blowing your mind? Even though that Spurs team is a little hard to watch in general.
Hey, he's one of a kind player. I mean, being 7 foot, 5'7", 6", and the way he moves is just, insane. Like I mean, once he gets it down and gets in his rhythm, there's really no one that can guard him because he's so much taller and longer than everybody else. It's just like it's impossible. And the things that he does is just, mind blowing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you're watching even a guy like Chet, for example, is there something that you see in Chet's game that you're like, oh, let me add that one? Are you taking notes on the NBA at night when you see these big men doing kind of these incredible things or moving a little bit differently?
Yeah, no doubt. Our film guy here, AP, he is big on sending us some clips. He calls it like film sesh Fridays, or he'll send them on Mondays, and it's pretty much clips he's made up from NBA players for the guards. He'll get like Shea, De'Aaron Fox, all the big name guards for them, and then for me, he'll hand out like he'll get Chet. He had Chet clips, he had Jokic clips, obviously, and then he also has a Sabonis clips because he's able to be the
Yeah.
hub of the offense as well, for the Kings, and so we definitely look at a lot of NBA clips here because that's kind of offense we kind of style after, and so that's definitely a big part with this.
Love that. And big shout out to the film guy. Look at
Oh yeah.
that. Putting that together for you. I love that. That's really smart, man. Amazing. You
Hmm.
know, in sports, it's a little bit like life. And sometimes we take L's. We
Yep.
want wins, but sometimes we take L's. Tough Illinois State game this week, but we're back at it on Saturday. That's the beauty of basketball. That's the beauty of life. You get another day. You got Southern Illinois on ESPN Plus. What's the Robbie Avila game plan after a loss or a bounce back? What's happening in that locker room? And what's your mental stance that you take after a tough loss like that?
Yeah, no, credit Illinois State. They played us really well. They slowed us down, and we're able to get the job done. But I think the biggest thing is we got to get back to our mentality. Obviously we haven't been shooting it very well these last few games. Been shooting around 20%, which we're probably about like a 35 to 40% shooting team. And so just being able to get back into our the wanting to be more hungry to win. I mean, I feel like the level of intensity from all of us has kind of just slowly dropped. Maybe it's just, what happens when you win, so many games in a row, get that ranking, and it's just kind of nature to, relax. But I think this team is going to be able to bounce back, like you said, get to the next one. We got Southern, which will be another, tough challenge, and we're going to do everything we can to prepare to play our best on Saturday.
Yeah, and although that was tough, man, I'm big picture guy. I like looking at these things in the full year, and this is the type of situation where this type of loss can really invigorate moving forward. Because, like you said, I think they locked in and made you all change your game a little bit to the point where your adjustments just got a little messed up. Things are moving in the right direction. You have some great teammates. I think 5 guys. I could be wrong on this. I'm not sure. 5 guys are averaging double figures in scoring. Give a shout out to a couple teammates that you've been watching and just loving playing with.
Up and down our entire roster that's playing. Obviously, Swope and Ryan are scoring the ball extremely well for us. Jason's doing, everything on the defensive end and grabbing rebounds. We're fighting for rebounds game by game. And then, Jew also is, being our point guard. He facilitates, he talks. He's probably our best defender on the team too. And so, even the guys off the bench, Jake, Jabo, Aaron, and Mace, everybody that plays kind of contributes to the role. And even the guys that don't play, they play our scout team, the best they can. As Coach Church says, we like to play the game before we play the game in practice. And so, everybody from, the highest minute guys to the guys that aren't even playing kind of, have helped us to get to the point that we are at right now.
It's that well-balanced squad that you always see in March that sneaks up on people. So we're looking forward to watching you guys the rest of the way. I want to have a little bit of fun here, Robbie. We got a few more for you. We end every interview with a segment we call 1-star to 5-star. We're 1-stars, man. We're always trying to get better. We could take any advice and tips from you that we can get. So I want to ask you just a few questions that run the gamut on a 1 to 5-star scale here.
All right.
I'm going to start it off with a little game. I'm going to call it a nickname game because DK mentioned one of the nicknames you've been given is the College Jokic. I'm going to tell you, man, I have mixed feelings about it because we love Jokic, top 3 player in the world, obviously. So there's that. But to be honest, it's kind of a weak nickname to me. It has no color. It's kind of boring. I think we can do better. So I think there's room for improvement. I have a few nicknames I came up with for you, and I want you to rate them on a scale of 1 to 5 stars.
Boy.
Is that cool?
All right. I'm going to be a tough critic, but I got you.
All right, hey, that's what we're out for. But just FYI, just to preface, most of these are probably going to be 1-star because that's who we are. So
Robbie, he's tried this before. He's done this with Ish Wainwright. He's tried this multiple times. Go ahead, Rev.
All right. I'm ready.
I couldn't sleep last night trying to think of these. So give me some credit here. All right. Number 1, the obviously the most famous player in Sycamore history is Larry Bird. And his nickname was based on the town he's from, French Lick, Indiana. It was the Hick from French Lick. So you're from Oak Forest, Illinois. So I'm going with that. Let's go with the purist from Oak Forest, like the purest shooter, the purist from Oak Forest. What do you give that? 1 to 5 stars.
If I'm going to have to be real, I give it a 2. I'll give it a 2-star.
All right.
I give it a 2. Yeah.
All right. 2 more here. We got the famous wrestler Triple H. So let's go Triple H, and it's half Hispanic highlight for you because you're half Hispanic. You're a highlight film.
Highlight.
Triple H.
See, I like the way, like the words behind it, but I just feel like with Triple H, it's not original. I'm gonna have to go with 2 again. I'm gonna have to go with 2. I don't want to copy off Triple H.
Dude, this guy has a copyright, Rip. He can't do merch. He can't do merch. He can't. It's too famous, Rip. The second part was pretty good.
That's all right because that was my worst one. I saved the best for last. 1 more, and because of the goggles, I know your vision's better, but I'm going Steph Blurry.
That's a good one.
Steph Blurry, I like that one. We'll go 3. We'll go 3.5. I'll give you 3.5 stars.
Oh yeah, let's go.
That was nice. I like that one.
That was good, Rip. That was your best. That was your best.
All right, Steph Blurry. All right, let's move on here. That was 1 star. But all right, second thing here. DK loved the Super Bowl halftime show. We just watched it. I was actually complaining that Usher only appeals to people in their 30s and 40s like we are. So I said, we have a college kid on the pod today. Let's ask him On a scale of 1 to 5 stars, 1 meaning 1, 5 meaning 5, everywhere in between, how many Usher songs from that halftime show did you actually know being a 20-year-old kid?
See, me, I'm not the biggest Usher fan. I obviously know him. So I'm gonna have to rate it lower. I would say I probably like a 2 star. But if you would ask my teammate Jason Kent, who's like an old school, he likes that type of music. That man was almost performing the halftime show with Usher while we were watching the game. So he probably would have rated it a 4 or a 5. But I'm gonna have to go with the
Nice.
2.
Okay, so you don't speak for everyone of your generation, but 2
I
out of
don't.
5, not bad.
90s R&B, Rip. 90s R&B is very big in this generation. They like that on the Spotify list. Shout
I
out to your
think
teammate. Usher
Yeah,
Jason
killed it.
Jason
J
holding it down.
Jason's parents were playing Usher for him in the car on the ride to practice every day, I think. All right.
Probably.
We're gonna close this out with one for the Sycamore fans. Most people can name 2 players in Indiana State basketball history. It's Larry Bird, and now you're the second. I think it's a crazy thing to think about, but it's probably true right now. Terre Haute is a town of about 60,000 people, small town in western Indiana, right near the border with Illinois. We love Indiana. Indiana loves basketball. What have the fans in that town been like, and in the Holman Center over your first 2 seasons there?
They have been amazing. They've showed out for every game this year so far. The crowds is what we feed off of. When we play at home. The energy they bring is just like, kind of gets us going. And so they're we always tell them about they do their job by showing out, getting loud, showing that love, and we just got to continue to do our job to win games for them. And so shout out to all the fans that come out. We really love and appreciate the support they give us, and we just hope that they stick with us, these next few years.
I love it. Bring the people what they want. You guys are still sitting at the top of the Missouri Valley Conference. Everyone can go follow Robbie on Twitter at Robbie_Avila30 and on Instagram ravila_21. Hey, Robbie, man, we wish you the best of luck to the rest of the season. You've captured America's hearts for a reason. We can't wait to see you guys play in March and can't wait to watch the rest of your journey, man. Thank you again for coming on with the One Star Recruits.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for having me, and like I said, stick with the ride. Hopefully, we'll get a lot of fun ahead.
Steph Blurry, baby, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for Indiana State for helping get that set up. Big Robbie from the beautiful town of Oak Forest. Rip, I went to boarding school in Wisconsin, and a lot of my friends were Illinoisans, and they were spread out from across the Midwest. But I had the pleasure a couple of times in my life to go down south of Chicago, southwest of Chicago, I think is where Robbie's from, down in Oak Forest, and cruise around, do a little skateboarding, hit the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, and do a couple things down there. So a great place to be raised. I think that's a big hospital city, Rip. If I remember correctly, it was a lot of older people. So big medicine city. Makes sense that somebody like Robbie would be there with those genes, 6'10", all kinds of great medical work available. But all is well that ends well. One Star's got him here early. You'll be hearing about this dude again in March. You'll be hearing about this program a little bit more. It's a program people sleep on. I think some of the best jerseys possibly in college basketball. They have a little old school flair to them.
Not only the Sycamore, but the baby blue color. Like anytime you get baby blue, you're winning. North Carolina Tar Heels, iconic baby blue. It's very unique, but I wish more teams had it. And yeah, I'm excited because this guy kind of reminds me of one of those like Davidson, Steph Curry stories. They just come out of nowhere, and you never know what can happen in March. So looking forward to seeing this run by the Sycamores.
Super Bowl is over. NFL is over. A great season. My wife, Kimmy, is very happy. Although her family's a 49ers fans, and she was actually in the Bay Area watching with him. Very sad for that. She texted me in the fourth quarter, and sports is very stressful. That was her text as she's watching this very stressful game as a 49ers fan. Obviously, it gave me feelings of when we were at the Super Bowl, Rip, and our Arizona Cardinals had a lead going into a final drive when a guy named Ben Roethlisberger got the ball. Patty Mahomes is better than Roethlisberger. Probably more scary than Roethlisberger, but same type of energy going through it. I thought it was a wonderful Super Bowl. Very entertaining. Started off slow. So very nervous for a lot of the overbettors, which there was plenty. I think almost everybody I talked to. The question of, can Kansas City get going on this elite defense? That was the big question in the first half, and I wasn't sure the first half. It all kind of changed a little bit going into the second half, but great game. Great Super Bowl. I enjoyed the halftime show, Rip. I mean, pick your poison. What do you rate? What do you rate it? What do you rate the Super Bowl? And anything you want to talk about. I don't want to beat it up too much. The numbers were really, really great. America loved it. 123.4 million, which is a record. Standalone record event for most watch event in American television history. So that's pretty crazy. A little bit of the Taylor Swift effect got in there with some demographics and some information being probably popped up a little bit. Paid off for them too. Storybook Disney ending for non-football Taylor Swift people. You got what you wanted. You got to see them kissing after the game, I suppose. So the NFL wins all around. I'm happy. Non-football fans are happy. The only people who are unhappy are Kyle Shanahan and San Francisco Niners fans.
Yeah, and we're a Niners household at this point. My wife's born and raised Bay Area, huge Niner contingent over here. So it was a very sad ending for us, and it all happened so quick. I felt like it leading up to that last play, because you felt like, oh, there might be a double overtime, or trying to process all those new overtime rules, and just like that, it was over. I mean, just like me, Cole Hardman, like I'm not even sure I realized it when it happened that the Chiefs just won the game. But like you said, it was exciting. I don't think there was ever more than a 7 or 10 point deficit in that entire game. So it was close the whole time. And the NFL got what they wanted. And Patrick Mahomes, man, I can't stand people saying he's the greatest after 3 Super Bowls and like 6 years, but he's really good. No one can deny that.
Very good. Very fun to watch. Congratulations to Andy Reid. This game had a lot of everything. You had the Kelsey yelling at Reid because he wanted the ball more, like really kind of in his face. You had, unfortunately, Greenlaw with that terrible injury, which kind of was that was a change. That was a change in Riz, as the kids say, for San Francisco. You just watch your second best defender tear his ACL, like hurt himself so he can't be in the game because he was too pumped up to get into the game. Changed everything a little bit, and then you got to this strange flow of it was. I felt like Brady. I felt like. Are you with me with those Cardinals Steelers games, Rip? That same energy when you felt like San Francisco might have had it, but we don't hold our breath anymore. We know crazy things happen in the NFL, in the Super Bowl in particular.
Yeah, maybe that Cardinals Steelers ones. I feel like a few more big plays that happened, like that James Harrison interception return, and then obviously the Santonio, and then the Cardinals had like another minute left to get down the field to try to win it, which San Francisco didn't have in overtime, obviously. But I felt that turning point also after Greenlaw and after halftime. I think the Chiefs came out and scored, and at that point, I went into my fridge, grabbed a Modelo, poured it in a glass. No one around me. I chugged it in like 8 seconds. I chugged a beer to try to just shift the momentum and get that turning point back, but obviously it didn't work. Great overtime game. The last overtime, second Super Bowl overtime ever, I think.
I think so. You're right. And that hence a lot of confusion because there was a rule change. Also, there was drama at the end. It didn't affect the game. I don't want to get into the weeds of the game because we're not football experts, but I can tell you it was fun. The halftime show with Usher was fun. He's a great performer. It helps a lot that he's been doing a residency in Vegas for the past, I think, year, maybe 6 months, where you're performing every night. He's got the swag. Always with these Super Bowl shows, 90% of the time, I'll say, songs come out that you don't remember as Usher, but you hear them and you think, oh my God, I was placing myself in 10, 11, 12 different spots for every song that he was singing. That's how much Usher was part of me growing up, from high school to college, post-college, even into some adulthood. All those songs kind of transported me back to a place, which is what music should do, mixed with some good entertainment. I know we got a little risque with him kind of doing the look down on Alicia Keys, who looks amazing. I mean, amazing. But Rip, he's a performer. For everybody beating him up, Swiss Beats is going to be mad. He's performing. It's a performance. It's a play. So it was good. I am usually one to walk away at halftime and go, I don't care as much. This one was good, though. I enjoyed it. I was vibing. It was setting me off to different memories. It's kind of like when you smell a certain smell and it takes you back to a certain place. Some of these songs lined up with that. So 2 thumbs up there on halftime show. Do you care, Rip? You have kids, so you were probably wiping butts and eating boogers.
No, I wasn't a huge fan. I'm a pretty big fan of Usher's music from back in our day, like you just talked about. But the whole time I was thinking, like, do you think a guy like Robbie, maybe 19 or 20 years old, do you think he knew any of those songs? Like, you can't appeal to everyone always, obviously, but I think Usher might be a little too far removed. Hasn't had a hit song in probably almost 20 years. And can college students relate to his music? Maybe I'm out of touch. I have no idea.
Yeah, you're out of touch. It's the new with Spotify and with these new ways to listen. 90s R&B is big. Yacht rock is big. It's like, I think it's all good in the hood. Great job, Usher. Great job to wrap up Vegas as the residency. Then you the Super Bowl. I don't have the details, but word on it is he didn't even get paid for this. He accepted it all in the name of publicity and the media that it created around it, which I think was estimated at $252 million when they break down all the media values for this particular show. But legacy goes on. Look, the deal with the halftime performance is it's either good, medium to good, or terrible. So I think he hit medium to good. Very hard to win Super Bowl halftime show. Everybody's got an opinion. All of a sudden, everybody has an opinion on Usher. Nobody's talked about Usher in 20 years, except for middle-aged women who've been going to his residency. 5 stars, in my opinion. 5 stars for a couple commercials that I actually like too. Usually I'm a big commercial hater. Took 19 minutes yesterday, Rip. 19 minutes for Dunkin' Donuts to sell out of its inventory of the $60 Dunk Kings tracksuits and bucket hats from their commercial. I thought it was pretty good. It started off once again like the game. A little bit unsure, a little bit cringy. Ben Affleck, a little just, you don't know if he's going to cringe out completely or if this might work. J-Lo hot, but with Ben Affleck weird. Guess what? They introduced Tom Brady being a little bit goofy, Matt Damon being goofy. I was smiling. I thought it was a good commercial. That's my 5-star commercial. I wouldn't be buying the gear, although those Dunk Kings SB dunks that they were wearing looked like melted, like a little bit of like melted donut frosting coming off the Nike sign. Excellent shoe. Shoe should be sold. Really, Dunkin' Donuts did a great job not only doing a commercial, getting the celebrities in, and then the next thing this day and age is creating something semi-viral that can keep moving. So these outfits and these shoes, like what a way to keep it moving instead of just the commercial ending. Or a couple other bad commercials would be the DoorDash, where I got in my group chat from our guy Train sending me these ridiculous things. I don't even know what it is. Some code that took off my whole fucking screen with 20 scrolls down. Pass. Make a smile. Something that I can text my friends and family. Maybe something I can talk about on my little podcast the next day. Duncan did that. 5-star favorite commercial.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I'm usually a huge commercial guy, but I was hosting a party, so I was refilling beers during commercials. I was making hot dogs and quesadillas for the kids in between action. So I didn't get to see a ton this year, but I did see that Nike one, and the shoes are fire. I would like to see those in Sycamore Baby Blue, another colorway. But yeah, the shoes are fire. And all I need to know is when I see one of the main stories about the commercials of Super Bowl was like a 90-second Robert F. Kennedy political action campaign commercial. That tells me it wasn't a great year for Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah, they slide those in. They have all those money. Jesus has a lot of money, apparently. I think $10 million a pop. Jesus rolled out 3 or 4 commercials about washing feet. That's what's interesting too. Some companies spend all their marketing budgets for the next 3 years on this one moment. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like I'm saying sometimes way too much. You might have to edit this out, Rip.
Better than Terre Haute over and
Terre
over.
Haute, Rip.
Terre Haute, like hotel without
one.
the L.
It's spelled. That's a very tough one. Okay,
just say hotel without the L. Say Haute.
Haute. It's the spelling that throws me off a little bit. A lot of people are going to be producing a more of a party vibe. Possibly, we're going party to party with Super Bowls for the first time ever. Las Vegas completed a Super Bowl. I think they also did a good job. I can't say it's from an outside viewer. I wasn't there. I wasn't feeling the energy from outside looking in. Looked like it was a good time all around. NFL turns to an old friend for the next title game, Rip. One of our favorite cities, one of your favorite cities, New Orleans. It's going to host for an 11th time next year for the Super Bowl. I think I'm slowly year to year getting priced out of this thing. I was hearing ticket prices for the hour. We went to the Super Bowl. What year was it, Rip, in Tampa Bay?
2009.
2009. We ended up paying, I think, $1,600 a ticket at the last second. 7,000 I was hearing was last second walk-up tickets for these ones here. I don't know if I'm getting priced out. New Orleans, it sounds like a great place to do a Super Bowl. Definitely the infrastructure is there. They know how to do it. They know how to party. Unless I get invited to a situation that's too good to match up, though. Let's say the Cardinals meet up with, hypothetically, the Miami Dolphins in New Orleans next year, and they win the championship game, Rip. Let's say they win the championship game. Are you texting me to get plane tickets to New Orleans?
I am not, because even if it's less than this year, like there's no way I'm paying $5,000-$6,000 for a ticket. There's no chance in hell.
You're staring 10 in the face next year if this continues
Yeah.
as the economy is going up at prices. You're paying 10,000 just to sniff the building.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if it was closer to us, like Vegas is, like I'm in California. If it was in California or Vegas again, or possibly Phoenix, like there might be a slim chance, but I'm not going all the way across country. Then you're adding a couple thousand on, unless you're sleeping in a car or something like that, which I'm not going to do. I'm too old for that. I'm
You're too
40.
old
I'm
for
a
that.
man.
You're a man, Rip, and it's sleeping in a car. I mean, I'm not even sharing a hotel with other men right now. I'm getting my own hotel room at this point in time. It's going to add up real fast. Time may tell, things change, life change. You want to live life, you want to do stuff. I'm not saying I'm a one and done. I'm just saying it's getting more expensive. Also, for an experience, check out our podcast last week. We talked about Super Bowl parties. They're a whole experience. This year I was solo. I had a Super Bowl party to myself. It's kind of quite lovely. Actually, very, very lovely. Only problems was the next day, my stomach was terribly upset with me. Other than that, I got to do every single thing I wanted. I got to watch every play. Didn't have to flick over to Nickelodeon's Super Bowl broadcast and watch SpongeBob and Patrick go ham. Although I heard good stuff about it. I heard a lot of people liked it. Rip, what did the kids give it? What was the rank for the Nickelodeon Super Bowl broadcast?
I'd say it was an 8, definitely for the kids. I mean, we kept switching back and forth just to try to change the juju and the momentum every time the Niners were struggling and Kansas City made a good play or scored. We kept going back and forth, so it was cool. I mean, yeah, what the heck's the guy's name? Patrick Sarr or something like that?
Yeah, Big Patrick.
Patrick Starr. Yeah, he was I'm not a SpongeBob guy, obviously, but yeah, the slime after the scores. I mean, we had watched one earlier in the season, was I think the Falcons game in London on Nickelodeon. But it's a cool experience. It's something different. Getting Tony Romo, no Tony Romo analysis, but Patrick Starr and SpongeBob. I give it an 8.
Give it an 8. Well, there you go. There you go. I think the Sphere had a good outing, got all kinds of brands involved. So congratulations to the Sphere. Congratulations to Vegas, the whole damn thing. Good stuff. Listeners, if you see those dunks from the Dunkin' commercial, throw them up. If anybody's going to buy those, I don't know. I bet you of all they sold out, they're probably now selling on the secondary market for $10,000. Everything is $10,000 this day and age. They're expecting 2.2 million people in Kansas City for the Super Bowl parade. Super Bowl parades in Kansas City in February when it's this cold. I'll maybe stand out there when it passes my office. If I got a condo that looks over the Panera and maybe the Piggly Wiggly, and I can catch a glimpse, I'll pop it out. Seems like a lot to go stand in the middle of -7 degrees for a parade. Seems like a lot to be in the parade when it's that cold. I mean, the big question though, that shit, it might change my mind. I might pop out of my condo. I might take a pop out of my Terre Haute house if Taylor Swift is joining in the parade. That's a little bit different. That 2.2 million might have to stretch up a little bit more just for security for her. The city's being very mum the word on Taylor coming out. But look forward for possibly, Rip, the biggest parade of all time if Taylor Swift gets involved. Now the whole game has changed. She might have her own bus of hot chicks and celebrities.
Yeah, you might have people coming from out of state, from Missouri, who knows, or Kansas or wherever.
Swifties all over to see her. So keep an eye on the parade. I'm the big parade. My peak parade was the San Francisco Giants. This was 2010, I believe. Peak parade. I watched it all. I sat through the whole damn thing. This was in San Francisco. It was great. Just like the Super Bowl, might be one and done. Parade guy. Can digest it. Maybe I like to maybe sit over a city, maybe an elevated restaurant, a dim sum place, have some shumai and some haigao and watch a parade, or have some sushi or some fajitas at a Mexican place and watch a parade. I don't want to sit in it anymore. And that could change with kids. That could change with kids in time. I know kids love parades, but slowly over time, kids don't even care about parades as much. Rip, your kids want to go to any parades anymore? That's a thing in the 1940s.
I think the idea would sound appealing, but when they see the amount of people there, I think we're out on it. We're not big crowd people, unless it's Disneyland, of course. But I mean, the bottom line is for us to have any kind of parade, DK, our teams have to actually win a title, which hasn't happened in 23 years if you're an Arizona fan. So yeah, maybe a parade in 2056 at this point when we're in our 80s. Who knows?
I'll tell you who's going to take a parade out of Arizona, who might have had enough of it. The PGA. PGA might be saying, fuck it, we're out of Arizona as a whole. These trashy trashers. I mean, I don't want to blame people with Scottsdale because there was a lot combined. You got bad weather. You got basically like shaking up a Coke and putting a Skittles in it or whatever people do to make it explode. This thing was bubbling to pop off a little bit. Lived up to his calling card as the rowdiest in golf, kind of in more ways than one. It was chilly in the desert. It was rainy. Turns out kind of what happened with booze and fans getting at is people were running in without tickets. Lots of people getting in with no tickets. Which, Rip, if you think about it, for a golf course, you can get creative to get on a big ass golf course. It's like the wall at the border. You can find a way if you really want to. So that makes a little bit more sense. You're gonna have to work on that. So they temporarily had to close gates because the crowd got out of control because a lot of the people slept in, which then resulted in alcohol sales being stopped to slow down the chaos. People were falling all over the place. People were fighting. This is all very un-golf. Kind of started opening up a little bit more as maybe this is a shitty event now when the players started yelling at the fans to quiet the fuck up. Shut up. Stop fighting. Like this is not a Niners Raiders game. This is golf in Scottsdale, Arizona. The Camelback Hotel, the Princess Hotel, having a tea and crumpets. People are fighting and pissing on each other, and what was kind of a fun thing is golf changing in one weekend really gave me the ick really quickly. Like, that looks like rowdy, not fun, annoying, bro. That looks like a bad concert, and I want nothing to do with that. And I think it rolled off to the players a little bit. So maybe I'm going overboard too. Maybe this is everything that the waste management wanted it to be. This was what was going to happen when you have waste in the name and people want to get wasted and it's a lot of waiting. You're going to get big eruptions and big blowups. So I don't know if this is what they're going for or not. Rip, are you interested in the PGA Tour in Scottsdale at the Waste Management Open getting better or worse? Are they going to try to throw some oil on this fire? Or are they going to throw a blanket on it?
I love watching it from afar, seeing the viral Twitter clips of Billy Horschel dropping F-bombs at those fans. And hey, next year maybe we'll even get a fight between fans and a golfer. Who knows? But this is what it's been leading up to, man. When they have no rules and just out of control leading up to this year after year. I mean, I don't think anyone can be surprised. But yeah, we'll see if they make any changes next year of maybe just crowd control, let selling less tickets. I mean, I don't know what else they can do.
But this is the big question. This is it. This is the big thing between Liv and the PGA. We're seeing Liv and the money trying to do more stuff that's fun, like playing the music, which is still annoying. They had a tournament in Las Vegas with Liv this weekend, which was almost unwatchable too. There's a couple things I like about it. There's some I don't. We're in this creative phase of golf right now. We're in this brainstorming phase. We're throwing stuff against the wall, seeing what works and what doesn't work. I think that you still got to keep some premium level of control within golf. I think when it starts turning into an NBA game with the loud music and the yelling at the fans and the I paid for this ticket, I can do what I want mentality, you start getting into a whole new thing. You might as well play speed golf. You might as well play footy, where you kick the big ball in the big hole. You might as well play a different game. Okay? Might as well speed golf. Run. Rip, you would be good at this. Instead of walking, you run with your bag. Try to also get a record time finish. So you give the crowd more stuff to cheer for. Problematic in the end. So I think that this was a good time to happen, though. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad we got to see kind of a wet, boozy, raucous crowd. And I'm excited to see if any changes will be made to still maintain the same level of energy. I'm not sure how you do that. Maintain the same level of energy with a little bit more control.
Yeah, this will be news to me if it happens at Augusta, but I'm not surprised at all that this is happening in Scottsdale. If you've ever been out on a Saturday night in Old Town Scottsdale, it's basically that scene just transferred to a golf course. So not surprising to me at all.
Well, all fun and games when you're going out to a club, dancing, having a good time, go back to your Airbnb and order a pizza and you have a fun night. Not as fun when you go, somebody depantses you and punches you in the face and you don't get any pizza and you go home. Two different experiences.
At least you have a golf club to swing at him at this point, though.
Rip. No, see, you're going in the other direction. MMA meets golf. New thing. Try new things. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not good. It's not for me. I'm 40. I'm a man.
One star moments of the week, 40-year-old man. What do you got?
I'm going to bypass a one-star moment. I had a really hard time thinking of a one-star moment this week. I had a really great week. As I'm recording this podcast in this moment, I'm having one-star bowels, one-star bowel movements, one-star stomach issues. I'm so excited to wrap up this podcast, to be honest with you, because this has been probably some of the most, I hope it comes across okay and I sound fine, but I feel like I have an Auntie Anne's pretzel in my lower GI right now. A hot dog pretzel at that, too, with a little bit of heartburn spitting out the top of my lungs here. So my one-star moment is dealing with the Super Bowl, and then I think really what is my one-star wreck of the week might be affecting my current one-star moment of the week. So I'm in a one-star wreck into the one-star moment, which is my stomach feeling terrible right now. And thank God I haven't had to break this podcast more than twice to do an emergency run to the B room. But I'm trying new stuff, Rip. And I tried there's a place here called Kauai Juice Company. Very good, a little expensive. All the juice companies are, but you try new things. You walk in, it's kind of like a dispensary. It's very hard to kind of figure out what's right for you, what you're looking for. But I grabbed myself an Island Protein, which is a nut milk. Not a big nut milk guy. You can't do it. I know you can't do nuts, Rip. You don't like nuts.
No.
Nuts in your mouth, nuts in your peanuts can kill you. Literally. Rip will die. Not for me, though. So Island Protein nut milk I tried. I said, okay, let's try it. Almond milk, hemp seed, vegan protein. Vegan protein might be what's getting me. Might be doing the Auntie Anne's pretzel turn. Maca, chia seed, dates, coconut crystals, and Tahitian vanilla, all mixed in with a nice little nut milk drink. But boy, oh boy, it's coming back to me in just these rabbit pellets right now that seem to be nonstop, like boba. You think you're done. How great is it? You're like, okay, it's out of my body. Like wonderful, it's done. And then 2 steps into like another movement, you do a side crunch, and 4 more want to speckle out on you, like speckle, like German, like the Germans speckled pasta. Anyway, one-star moment, trying new stuff that leads to probably bad stomach issues. Good news is there's no lactose in there, so I think milk I might be okay on. I think I might be shifting my search for what bothers my stomach in a new direction here. Vegan protein is what I'm leaning towards. What do you got? What's your one-star moment?
Yeah, any GIs listen to this, shoot us a DM or an email at onestarrecruits@gmail.com. We need to get this guy to a gastroenterologist ASAP. It's happening every 3rd show at this point, DK. I see a pattern, and I think you need to be seen at this point.
Every 3rd show. I think I need more leafy greens before yours. I think that's a big thing. Leafy greens, better stools. Go ahead, Rip.
My one-star moment is pink eye, DK. It's struck my house again for the 2nd time in 3 weeks. I don't even know if I talked about this on the previous show, but my younger son got pink eye at school. He was out of commission for a few days, had to do drops in his eye 4 times a day for 7 days to get it repaired, and he finally was better. Only to have my older son now get it over the weekend. So pink eye back in the house. Beautiful days out in California, but we got pink eyes everywhere. So trying to wash our hands 70 times a day, do eye drops, warm compresses, all of that nonsense. So pink eye, dirty bacterial disease, and it's in my household once again.
From feces, or some people call it feces. Right, so there's feces in your house.
It could be feces, it could be boogers, it could be germs just hanging around. It's extremely contagious. That's why you kind of have to isolate, almost like COVID, and try not to spread it to anybody.
So you're sitting here right now with pink.
No, I don't have pink eye, luckily, but I'm washing my hands, like I said, 75 times a day, just trying to stay away. And
how about when you walk in the house, people got to take off their shoes sometimes. That's just fine. You have to put on ski goggles. Obviously, a Fessie's problem, Rip, is what's obvious to me. Okay, let's deep clean.
You can point to that if you want. We got Clorox wipes in basically every room at this house all the time. So I'd like to consider ourselves a pretty clean household. But when pink eye rears its ugly head twice in 1 month, then I think you have to reevaluate.
Dang. You ever do a house cleaner? Pay somebody to come in and do a deep clean?
Yeah, we had a deep clean once, but we do have regular house cleaning like every couple weeks that, kind of adds to what we normally do ourselves. But
The deep clean's nice when you do it. It always surprises me after you do it. You think it might be just like $180, so it's like $400. Very surprising, but it is nice to pay for that once every couple years as 1 stars. You just get a full deep cleaning, those areas above the doors are always kind of nasty. Wipe your fans down, the whole thing. You don't want to have fissies in your fans, for crying out loud. How about Rex of the Week, Rip? Recommendations. Anything that made you smile?
I'll just roll right into it. We've been watching a show. You may have seen this before or talked about it, but it's one of the top shows on Netflix right now. It's called Love on the Spectrum. It's a dating show for people on the autism spectrum, and it's really heartwarming. It's a couple of seasons. I'm not sure if you've seen it before, but we just finished up season 2. Follow along 5 or 6 people that try to find love with other people that are on the spectrum, and it's really interesting. It's kind of the raw, bare bones human emotion and relationships, and just kind of seeing it play out is a really cool thing. It's a lot different than any other reality dating show, because you have people dealing with a lot of other issues that most people don't have to deal with, and also involving their parents. Some of these people can't live on their own, so they're still living with their parents, and really cool show, DK. I think you should check it out. It'll make your heart warm and maybe cry a little bit. Who knows?
I saw a couple of these. I saw one mother talking about how she never thought that her daughter would be able to do it without her, because they have this partnership with this nice show, the Australian show, I believe, or the Aussies. The Aussies like Odd Love. That Rec of the Week last week I had for the Shane Gillis comedy special. He does a funny little bit about that. All in good jest, Rip, but still add that to your list. I know you're avoiding my comedy recs over there. It's because you guys are rubbing each other's butts. Got some pink eye. Put that on the list, though. Shane Gillis. I will put Love on the Spectrum. I was going to say Love Island, and then that would be completely the opposite of what's going on here. We have true love versus island love. 1 star of the rec for me. 1 for your future, 1 for your present. I'm going to double dip. This might be a triple dip, but I will double dip. 1 for your future. Congratulate me. This is the first time I've ever done this, Rip. I am an actual max outer of my Roth IRA for the first time. I've been about a $2,000 Roth IRA guy for a long time, for about 20 years. Over those 20 years, that savings has grown quite a bit, but I wish I would have maxed it before. I think it was $5,000 for about the last 10 years, and I wasn't maxing it out. So for 2024, they raised it to $7,000. I maxed it out. I am an investor. I found out for me with the Roth IRA, and listeners, you guys have heard it. I don't know how to explain it to you, but it's a savings account that invests into the stock market, depending on how you want to go about it with your financial person. But basically, after 65, you can pull that money tax free. So it's a way to save money and then get it back tax free. So 2 thumbs up, Roth IRA, max out. Congratulate me, Rip. After I'm done here, second one for your present. Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's back. I had some premonitions that this might be the last episode. Larry might be getting a little bit old. Maybe they lost some of their juice. Sometimes this happens with really great television shows who've been going on for a while. Not this one. Very, very funny. Started off hot. The second episode was hot. Curb Your Enthusiasm is back. Check it out on HBO or whatever they call it now.
Max, one of the top 3 shows of all time. I haven't watched an episode yet of this new season, but I saw a clip of him getting in a fight with Siri, basically something. It's so relatable to everyday life. I mean, everything he does, the situations he gets himself into, and just, one of the top 3 shows of all time. I second that for sure.
So good. So check that one out. Rip's reactions. Hit the music. Rip, who has more celebs showing up for tonight's game? Pistons versus Lakers or Sierra Canyon versus Harvard Westlake?
Is the Pistons game in Detroit or LA?
LA.
Oh, no doubt Lakers. You try to trap me into that high school basketball nonsense. I'm a huge fan, but come on, DK. Lakers, Crypto.com Arena. You got so many celebs there.
It's the Pistons, though. Nobody wants to see the Pistons.
It's all right. Everyone's back from Vegas, ready to have a good time and see a Lakers blowout. The place holds 20,000 people. Just by numbers, the odds are there's going to be more, DK. Come on.
What happened to Crespi? Former one-star guest, Derek Fisher, Crespi High School. Are they out of it?
Good question. I'm not actually sure. I know they were in the state tournament for their division.
We got to check it out. We'll check it out. Deshaun Foster takes over for the UCLA program after Chip Kelly heads to Ohio State as he takes the OC job. Good riddance, Chip. I'm sure everybody in Westwood is giving you a nice kick in the butt on out of there. Rip, what's your favorite Deshaun Foster memory?
Man, just him dominating in college as a running back at UCLA. I think he had a 300-yard game at one point, but I believe he played 4 years there in Westwood. I haven't heard his name in a long time since he was basically on the Panthers in the NFL. I didn't even know he was coaching, to be honest, but it's one of those match made in heaven things because he's a Bruins guy. And good job. Congratulations to Sean.
Yeah, I think he was a running backs coach in Vegas with the Raiders. It could be wrong there. Elton Brand and Trajan Langdon, former one-star guests, are considered early front-runners for the Hornets GM job. Who you taking, Rip? You got a former one-star, and you got a former NBA stud who allowed you to actually wear a jersey with your name on it. Who you taking?
I'm going to go outside that box and say put Del Curry in there, because why? Trajan Langdon is the current GM of the Pelicans, who are a playoff team, and Elton Brand is the current GM of the Sixers, who are a really good team. Why would you make a lateral downward move to Charlotte? I don't get it. So I'm going Del Curry. He's, I think, a broadcaster there. Seth Curry is actually on that team right now before he gets bought out, but Del Curry is what I think of when I think of Charlotte Hornets. Make him the GM.
Make him the GM. Nice little young base there. I think I'm going to throw in another one too. Bob Myers. Possible Charlotte Hornets. We'll see. Great episode. Victor Wembanyama got a triple-double this last week. Things are happening in the NBA. We're going to turn a little bit more the NBA dial up on this podcast as football season is over. We're going to turn the dial up on some unique guests from the culinary world, some unique guests from the figure skating world. We got unique people coming in. Unique New York, Rip. Unique New York. 5 stars. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.